RO647 TAROM Romanian Air Transport from Bucharest to Cluj on Saturday the 27th of June 2017 on an Airbus A318, scheduled at 5:50 p.m, a 55-minute flight time. We were transiting in Bucharest. This is the second of two flights. The first was Barcelona to Bucharest, the second is this one, Bucharest to Cluj. So there's no check-in and our bags were checked all the way through to Cluj. When we booked this flight, it was scheduled for 5:50 on a Boeing 737, and when we got here it was scheduled at 6:25 on an A318, but it actually took off at 8:45 p.m. That's almost 3 hours after the original scheduled time. We got no notification about this delay, and no one seemed too bothered about it either, so we just sort of rolled with it.
We're on one of them for our next leg. On the bus.
Spoiler alert, we totally were on the bus. As we were walking the entire length of the Bucharest airport, we ended up beside the baggage claim for our flight. This was slightly unnerving, but we wandered on by. Don't panic though, this story has a happy ending. Our bags arrived in Cluj. Yay! After one last corridor, we arrived in the domestic terminal. For reasons I can't recall, I only took 1.5 seconds of footage here. Here it is, again. It was sort of like a bus terminal with all these little doors. It was kind of cool, but for 3 hours it was less cool. So your boarding gate's a lot like a normal airport gate, except there's no air bridge and plane, just a door and this little bus comes up and then you all get on and then you go out to your plane. While we were waiting at the terminal, this enormous smoke plume appeared in the north. None of the locals seemed fazed or really cared, so we just shrugged our shoulders and did nothing like everybody else. So after what felt like an eternity and what is quite possibly the most boring domestic terminal on the planet, we got on our little bus and went out to our plane. It was super exciting. Look at all these TAROM planes we saw. There's an Air Bucharest. Oh, this one's kind of cool. This one's just sort of landing and then pan in front of a plane. Wheels down. Pan in front of a tanker. Landing. What a great shot. Wow. This has turned into one of the most exciting little bus rides ever. Oh, there's our plane. There it is. Our little A318 that's going to get us to Cluj. Yippee. Oh, and a super geek moment out the other side of the bus. Look at that. There's a DC-9. Whoa, those things really scream through the air. This one was built in 1982, making it 35 years old. It was originally ordered for Hawaiian Airlines and it was all painted up for them, but they didn't take it up. And so then it went to Pacific Southwest Airlines. And when they were integrated into US Air, the plane got a paint job. So for the first 20 years of its life, it was pretty stable. And then in 2003, it was sold to Aquavila Air, who leased the plane out in Eastern Europe and Africa. Given that the registration doesn't change through this period, these were probably short-term leases that came with crew, and what is called a wet lease. In 2006, ownership changed to Jetran, who also leased the plane out in a series of short-term leases. In 2010, they had a lease fall through. It looks like the plane sat idle until 2013 when they managed to flog it off to Air, who then promptly went bust, and now here it is sitting on the tarmac at OTN. That's a slightly sad story, don't you think? But that's sort of the way it goes in the aeroplane life cycle. We got off our bus and we shuffled over the tarmac and then up the stairs onto our plane. That smoke plume was still all go to the north. Oh well, we're leaving. Despite possibly being the first people to check into this flight, we didn't have window seats. Oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? We were seated somewhere in the middle of the plane in seats C and D. That doesn't really work for my filming addiction. Oh well, Bucharest has 2 runways. I don't know which one we used, but we definitely took off on 26. We taxied from apron 2 and then took off to the west. We then tracked to the northwest over the mountains and up to Cluj. Okay, so we're up in the air. How was the snack? There was one item to eat and a cold beverage. The snack was a filled roll. It was enormous. For a 1-hour flight, this was pretty exceptional. Ham and cheese roll. Yum, yum. Easily the most substantial steak I've ever had on a 1-hour flight. An easy 8 out of 10. For the cold beverage, I had water, but I could have chosen from juices or carbonated beverages if only I'd known how to ask for them. That's a 6 out of 10. Nice work here, TAROM. That's an average of 7 for the snack. Boom. So how was the plane? This plane, YR-ASC, had its first flight in October 2007, making it just under 10 years old when we took this flight, and it's only ever had one owner. It was delivered new to Air TAROM, and they've really looked after it well. This A318 is configured with 14 business class and 99 economy class seats. The seats were comfortable enough, everything worked, there was enough leg room, enough space in the overhead lockers, overhead swing down screens for the safety video and the in-flight navigation show. All in all, a very tidy, well-maintained plane. 7 out of 10. Good work, Air TAROM. So we tracked northwest and then turned almost due west to come into land at Cluj. Cluj has one runway, so we landed on that, on bearing 26, and then we taxied to Apron A and took a bus to the terminal. I videoed out the window past my neighbour, hope I didn't weird him out too much. So we went down the stairs, and when we got outside there were 2 buses waiting. Everybody had crammed into the first bus because obviously no one wanted to be late to the baggage claim. We ended up on the second bus with all the stragglers and we were totally freaked out. We were going to be the last to get our bags. But it turned out both buses left together anyway. So everybody from both buses went into the terminal at the same time. As soon as we went in, we could see baggage claim on the left. It was about 10 meters from the door to baggage claim. Awesome! So our bags are going to be on conveyor 1 of 1. And then that super happy feeling when your bag comes off. There's our bag! Yay! And after a very short walk, we're outside and in a taxi and on our way to Cluj, and that's it. Flight RO647 from Bucharest to Cluj is finished. Okay, let's sum up as we drive into town and then have a wee bit of a look around Cluj, which is an odd little town. The snack was that fresh and enormous filled roll. That was fantastic. And the cold beverage service that had multiple options. So that was a 7. The plane, which is about 9 years old and kept in fantastic condition, was above average and got a 7. That's an average of 7. That's a well above average trip. Nice one, Air TAROM. Good work. Cluj is in a very picturesque part of Romania. It has some beautiful outdoor cafes and overall is a very pretty wee town. But it has some weird stuff. A radiology museum, a pharmacology museum, and a caving museum. An abandoned salt mine in nearby Turda with a Ferris wheel in it. Some awesome Soviet-era architecture and this weird little fountain. Please subscribe and watch every single video we ever make.